What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the FansToys Wright, or their version of a Masterpiece Scale Scavenger. So I got this one from Nick the Toy Guy. Thanks for sending it out so quickly. And if you're interested in picking this up, you can take a look at the link in the description and some discount codes there as well. But this is the second in the series of Constructicons from FansToys. We got the first one was Scrapper, or they call him Gary, and now we've got Scavenger. And there are some things you need to do right out of box to adjust him. So come to the back here, you can open up this, you're going to fold this shovel in. Come to here, you're going to open up this little panel. And then this is supposed to sit underneath. I don't really know if you need to open that panel, to be honest. It doesn't really collapse down anymore, but that's what they show in the instructions. The other thing you do is going to collapse this waist. So the purple and green piece have little gaps. You're just going to push them together. And that kind of collapse that down, and you're going to push the purple piece up so it sits more flush with his waist. And now it's a little bit more compact at the waist area. In general, he does look a little bulky, but let's put the G1 image there so you can see how he looks. And they really did nail the look, at least from the front. They really did nail the look of Scavenger. Now, when we come to, and before we move off of this, I just want to show you have black metallic gunmetal paint here, metallic red eyes, silver for the face mask, silver for the chest, the neon green, and then this purple, which was changed again from that original color that we saw in the prototype. Now it's a darker purple. I like this purple a lot more, by the way. So I'm glad they changed it. But it was more of this color. It was like the color of this window. Obviously not transparent, but it was like a maroonish purple. So I think they made a good choice changing the color. However, when you come to the side, he has got a lot of not kibble, but backpack. It's just a really big backpack. He's very wide, not only this way, you know, this dimension, but also this dimension. And the reason for that is all of the parts for combined mode are stored inside there. So I can understand why it's so thick. You know, they're doing it all in one, in case you didn't know. Now, the first one, Scrapper, there was a little extra piece for the heel. There was a heel piece that fit in there. But this one, it is truly all in one. The hand is actually in there for combined mode. So I kind of understand why he's so big. But to me, it does look a little bit ugly from the back. But let's take a look from the front and take a look at his articulation. The head is on a rotating swivel, so it gets up to there, down to there. We get no side to side, but it does rotate around. Shoulders rotate around on a friction joint here. Out to the side on a ratchet. You have a rotation at the bicep at a cut joint. Not the best look when you break the sculpt. You have a single jointed elbow. There is a covered down elbow piece that looks nice, but it only gets up to there just due to the sculpt. You have a rotation at the wrist. Individually articulated fingers at 2 pins, and then the thumb is on a ball joint and a pin. I do like these hands. They've been using this style for a while now, and they don't need to change it. It works, so I like it. Continuing down, we do have a waist swivel. It's down here at the crotch. It's on a ratchet. No ab crunch. You could kind of fake a back ab crunch, but not really there. Hip skirts will go up. There's actually a hip skirt back here too. And in fact, you could fold them up if you wanted to, but hip skirt, get out of the way. Leg will kick up to there on a ratchet. Back to there on a ratchet. Out to the side on friction. It does hold. You have a rotation at the thigh. During the unboxing, I thought maybe there was none, but it's there. It's just very tight. So when you get it out of the box, it might be tighter than you expect. It does rotate. That actually helps for posing, by the way. It makes it look a little more natural. But he still ends up with very wide hips, just because of the look of the design. For the knees, you have a 90-degree band, a little past 90, and there's a cover piece here. That looks good. You have ankle tilts out to there. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention in the unboxing, or what you need to do, is that heel spur will be folded inwards. You got to poke it. Right there's a little tab. You can flip that out. So you get ankle tilt there, and a little bit of back and forth just due to the design. You get, actually, not a little, a lot of forward and backward. For the accessories, we get his blaster done in this gunmetal black. Very nicely sculpted. I really like the look of this blaster. And that will fit into palm of the hand. And he holds that very securely, and it looks good. Good looking gun. We also get the horn or the trumpet done in this gold chrome die-cast metal. And it looks good. You can put that into his hand. It's a little challenging to get it at the right angle to be, in his mouth. It does tab in pretty securely. All right, there you go. Here's playing the trumpet, and it's close enough, but he's got a mask on, so all of them do. Not sure how they play the trumpet, but either way, that does look nice. And for comparison, there it is next to the FansToys Gary, their version of Scrapper. And they do look good together. They're about the same height. I would say Wright is a little bit shorter to the top of the head. So very close. But because this guy has so much backpack, he just looks a little more girthy than this guy. But either way, I do think they look good together as a team so far. And for another comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square Optimus Prime and the X-Transbots version of Hauler, just because I'm planning to put them with them. And he's actually sized pretty close to what I would want. He's a little bit bigger, just like the Scrapper was, a little bit bigger than I'd want, but I don't mind it really, because it fits in with the MP scale, so it works for me. All right, let's get him transformed into vehicle mode. And relatively straightforward and simple transformation. A couple things to look out for. So go ahead and lift the arms up. We're going to unpeg it from here. It's on an armature, so you kind of have to get it to untab from that little piece. So you're supposed to pull out on it. I find that you really just have to get it untapped from here. But you want it on this armature. We want to rotate this piece right here to the other side. Hard to explain. I'll show you later what I mean. But then we're going to rotate this back this way. Lift up this panel. Rotate this way, and then leave that right there. For the hand, we're going to open up the hand, the fingers, and open up the thumb, and have that just sitting alongside the fingers. So that's how that's looking. So go ahead and do the same thing on this side. All right, now that we got the arms taken care of, we can take care of the backpack. Before I move on though, I wanted to mention this panel here is loose. It doesn't really matter in either mode because it tabs in robot mode over here, and in vehicle mode it tabs in as well. But as you're transforming it, it'll be loose and flopping about, so I just wanted to mention that. Come to the back here, you're going to rotate the head. You're going to bring down this panel. It's going to basically cover up the head, so it looks like this. Come to back here, and we want to close this panel up that we opened earlier for the shovel. You kind of open the shovel, get that out of the way. Come to here, we're going to open up this panel here on both sides. That allows us to take all of this and lift that up out of the way. And here's the hand and the arm, forearm, for combine mode. Just to show you, it is indeed in there. We're going to take these arms, and we're going to rotate at this joint here. And this is going to come all the way around so that you end up with the oval. It's hard to describe, but this little oval right here facing upwards, and this inner joint on the inside. All right, so we're going to close that joint. Should end up like this. So with that oval and then the inner shoulder joint folded inwards. And you can kind of see how things are going to match up. This little slot is going to go to this tab. These two tabs are going to go to this slot. All right, so make sure you get those lined up. And same on this way. Now we can take this and collapse that down. Make sure you get both of those. There's a little tab right here in the bottom It has to fit over this ridge. So I like to rotate it a little bit, get it in past that ridge, and make sure you're lined up with those tabs. And then once you get it past there, you can rotate it back and get it tabbed in. So it tabs in pretty easily if you do that. If you don't do that, it doesn't go in easily. So same, rotate it again a little bit, and then line up those tabs and get it tabbed in. And you'll feel a nice secure click if you got it right. For the cab, we can bring this down. This should tab in here. So there's two slots, two tabs that are going in here and here to these tabs. So bring that down. And then there's two tabs here on the front that are going into the front. I found that those front ones are kind of hard to get it to go. You really have to give it a push. Oh, right here. I can see the problem. See this panel right here? A little bit of purple on it? That has to get underneath. If you don't have that underneath, it will stop you from closing this up. So now that I got it, you can see it pushed down. All right, so you can close that up and you should have a nice square top there. All right, now we'll take care of the legs. And to do that, we can fold up the heels. We're going to come to the knee. You're going to bend the knee, and then you're going to bend forward on this joint. So there's a little release there. That allows you to open up this panel on the inside so you can fold the feet in. Very chunky piece. It feels very sturdy. Then you can close that back, close that back. Come to the front. We can extend this out to give yourself a little room, extend it out on the hip. And then on the front, you're going to take this panel, unpeg it from here. That's going to come around to the front and peg in right there in the front to make the front of the treads. So it should look like this, and you should be out on this hip joint basically straight out. Make sure you're not using the hip rotation. Make sure the hip rotation is straight. All right, go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'll do that off camera. All right, here's how we're looking after taking care of those treads. Now we're going to re-extend this purple piece out. I found the easiest way to do that is to push on this purple and hold the green for some leverage. And that does work. It does slide downwards when you do that. Swing this around. You can see there's a slot right here, a T-shaped slot. It's going to go into this tab. Again, make sure your thigh rotation is straight. Otherwise, you'll have trouble lining this up. But get this angled. This should be relatively straight. And you can push that in. All right, rotate this one around. Same thing. Get that pegged in. And these can come down. All right, there is Wright in vehicle mode. And once again, they nailed the cartoon look. Let's put the image there so you can take a look. And yeah, I mean, it really looks like the cartoon. Personally, though, my personal opinion, I do think this looks a little strange. Now, you can reconfigure it, so that's the good news. You can fold these up. And again, it's your opinion. It's up to you. I think this looks better. More like a truck. But for the official and more cartoon accurate look, that's how it should be. Here's the back. There's a little bit of gaps right here. But overall, it's a pretty good looking, whatever you call this, loader. I don't know. It's got nice translucent purple windows. There is a seat in there in the cockpit. I don't think you can open this up. I think it's sealed shut. As far as I can tell, I believe this is sealed shut, but I'm not 100% sure if you can get in there or not. But there's a nice little seat with controls in there. I never would have thought they'd work in that detail, but they did. Yeah, I see a panel here, but it doesn't look like it opens. You get up and down movement here. Actually, you can move it at the other joint as well. So there's two joints here that you can move that on. I think it's intended to be folded flat like that, and then you can rotate back and forth. You can rotate back and forth on this one. That can go all the way up to there. And then the shovel has a rotation point. There's also a rotation here at the end of the shovel. And I've noticed, so I just looked at the Mecha Invasion. It was the same thing. This doesn't rotate, this cap. So they've been putting the rotation into the shovel instead. It doesn't, I think it should have been here to really be, you know, give you the movement you need. But it's fine. On the bottom, there aren't any wheels or anything, so it doesn't roll. There's no rolling action. But it does look good overall. And before we get out of vehicle mode, there is an option to do some weapon storage. You can fold on this handle, a little tab right there. Come to the bottom, there's a little hidden slot right there. And now you can do this. I appreciate when companies think about weapon storage. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And these are big. These are big vehicles. I do like how they fit in the Masterpiece scale. And for another fun size comparison, there is next to the FansToys Road King, their version of Motormaster. And again, similar size as MP10, so you can see he's going to tower over this, or not tower over, but going to be much bigger in terms of size. But all right, now let's get him into combine mode. And in my opinion, that's what this was purposely built for, was to be, you know, a combine mode. It is all in one, so all of the parts you need to make him into the arm are in here. It doesn't make sense to go back to robot mode. In FansToys official instructions, they start from robot mode. You don't need to do that. You can start from vehicle mode. I just wanted to mention that because it was kind of silly. But go ahead and unpeg the legs from the side. We can rotate these forward. Get those out of the way. There's a little bit to do here, so let's just move that out of the way. For the legs, we're going to open up this same panel that we opened before to hide away the legs. All right, then we're going to take this, open up here, and on this other side, you're going to see a little clip. We're going to open up that clip. We're going to bring this all the way down again, and then going to use that inner joint to collapse this down like this. And then that clip is going to come down and tab in. Oh, where's that clip? Here. You bring this down and tab that into the top. So that kind of locks that in. I'm going to do it again just because that wasn't the smoothest that I did. Bring this up, open that little peg, bring this back down, this bottom joint, and then open on the top joint, and then close that peg to collapse that down. We can open up these, so it sits like that, and we can bring the hips down on the lower joint, so make sure you're opening the lower joint. And oh, we have to open up this too, otherwise you won't be able to bring it past. And you should end up with something like this. You have to make sure you bring this down as well. So that's going to come all the way out. Then we can attach these together. And it's a pretty firm clip, so give it a nice push. I forgot to mention this earlier, but the QC Pass sticker is right in the wheel. I thought it was funny that they chose to put it there, of all places. All right, let's take care of the rest now. So come to this part here. We're going to open up these panels. That'll allow you to take this entire top section and unpeg it. You can open up these, and now we can flip this back. Have a little styrofoam in there. Go ahead and bring the arms out. The arms are going to be in the same exact configuration as they were in vehicle mode. So you can leave it, but make sure, again, there's a little tab, so make sure it makes its way over that ridge. Rotate, bring this out. And then here, we're going to take these, bring these all the way down. And that one as well. Then we're going to lift out this piece, which was hidden in here. And that's one of the reasons his backpack is so big. You know, I kind of was like disappointed when I first got this. But once I realized this was in there, it was kind of like, okay, there's at least a purpose, a reason for it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring this back down. That'll tab back into here. And then you can put your arms back basically exactly where they were, except this time you only have one tab to hit instead of, that set of tabs. But the configuration of the arm should be exactly the same as it was in vehicle mode. Get that collapsed in. Make sure you hit that tab too. And it's hard to, and remember, you've got this tab underneath, so you got to make that fit under here first. Then you can get it past here. And then it should tab in right there too, and then on the side there. So that's how it should look. Go ahead and do the same thing on this side. So come to here and peg those in there. And make sure this stays in there as well. All right, and then same on this side, get that pegged on the bottom. And that's how we're looking. I don't know, I have this is popping out. I might have this. Okay, there we go. And then for this is finally going to collapse into here because there's now a big gap for it. So what you're going to do, rotate this around. This will collapse down into here. It's a little tricky to get it down, but get that all the way down, bring this down, bring that down, and then this panel is going to stay open. So it's going to look like this. I don't know why this keeps popping out, but that's how we're looking. You can close these back down. All right, now let's take care of the forearm part. And this has its own transformation just because it had to fit in the backpack. So pretty wild that they did this. So go ahead and pull out on this. You're also going to pull out on the hand. And especially the first time, it can be a little tricky to get the hand out of here. You can maybe use a spudger to push it out, but you want to get this hand pulled forward. It's on a panel, and that panel sometimes likes to get stuck, so you can see it's cockeyed right now. So you got to get that panel out, but that should slide forward while this slides back. You can lift this up. This panel will get out of the way, and now you can kind of see what you're doing here, but this arm panel is going to slide. Whoops. You're going to slide all the way forward. So, let's see. It's a little tricky to get it because it gets caught up inside here. There we go. So you want it flush with the front, like that. Then you can pull this out. And in here, there's 4 little tabs. Push them up. Hopefully you can see that. Push up on these so that they get engaged. And that kind of locks the arm forward, or the hand forward in this position. Okay, that's what that's doing. Then you're going to take this, come to the inside here, open up that panel, and open up these internal panels here. And this is going to swing all the way around on this double hinge. So bring this all the way around so that it folds flat on the top. And then on the inside, you're going to push this panel. So this now sits flush. So at the end, you've got the hand flush here and this panel flush here on the inside. Leave these open. So this should sit like this. Then you're going to take the arm, and there's 2 tabs here, and those tabs are going to fit into 2 slots on this panel. So that's how you know the orientation. And there's 2 on each side. They're going to go into slots on each side. So there's a T-peg here that's going to go into 2 T slots here. So line those up first. That's the first thing you want to do. And slide it down. Is a firm grip, so you really got to make sure you get that. Then you're going to close these side panels. Make sure that it makes those ways onto those 2 purple tabs on both sides. That one already did itself. And then bring this down, making sure it makes its way into the tabs and into these side panels here. There we go. That one's pretty firm, but make sure these close on top. I found that these don't close they attach to these more than they attach to these. So this isn't really what's holding it together. It's these two. But there you go. There's arm mode. It is freaking huge. Huge. I mean, this is awesome. Here are the fingers. Really well done. They're done just like the Superion. So if you're wondering, same articulation on the hands. They splay out. They have 1, 2, 3 pins. They open up. Thumb is on a rotating piece here, and then 2 pins there. So you get some great movement on this. Yeah, it's a great hand. Really great hand. Rotation here on a ratchet. In-out movement on a friction joint. It's nice and tight. Elbow bend gets you up to there. Actually, if you open these, you get a little bit more. Very good looking. I really like how this turned out. This is nice and flush. If you prefer the look where the shovel's out, you can do that. You can kind of bring this out and have that more traditional look. I like the collapsed look, so I'm going to leave it in. But man, oh man, this is a very good looking arm. I guess it would be like this officially. I didn't have the elbow rotated, but yeah, really solid feeling. You know, it doesn't feel like it's going to come apart. I'd imagine this right here is the connection point. So this looks like there's a track that's going to slide onto a peg. So just to give you a sense of the height, let's see if we can get it posed here. Yeah. Pretty cool. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Toy World version of Devastator. You can see the arm is pretty close as far as the size. The hand, the forearm, and the upper arm are similar. And I know this guy is bigger, a little bit bigger than the Toy World overall in combined mode. So final recommendations on the FansToys Wright. This one was a roller coaster ride for me because when I first got out of the package, I thought this robot mode looks awful. And it is very, bulky and kind of awkward, but that is how this character looks. And I think they're going for cartoon accuracy. So if you like that kind of thing, they nailed it. They nailed the look of the cartoon. And I even texted Nick and said, this thing looks ugly. But as soon as I got it to vehicle mode, and especially as soon as I got it to combined mode, I realized what this is for. This is unabashedly and undoubtedly built for combined mode, right? This entire backpack is configured this way to fit the arm and the hand in there for the all-in-one gimmick. Otherwise, there's no reason to have it like this. And the combined mode looks great. I think it's going to be an amazing Devastator when they're done. They did sacrifice the look a little bit here in the robot mode. Maybe not a little bit, a lot in the robot mode. Vehicle mode is fine, but I think the robot mode definitely suffers. But it works. Works in all 3 modes. The transformation is easy and fun. All the accessories work. I mean, it just does what it's supposed to do. And that's why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it. Even though I do think the robot mode is somewhat ugly, it does what it's supposed to do. And it's purpose built for combined mode. So I'm excited to see how they finish that. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.